Hello, my name is Emily Hopkins and I'm a junior at Manchester University and I'm majoring in athletic training. For the past 7 weeks, I have been enrolled in a class called Basic Principles of Nutrition. We have gone over many topics, including learning about the basic dietary guidelines, the chemical and biological aspects of our food, as well as we watched 2 documentaries on introducing a plant-based diet into some people's lives. We also talked about celiac disease, heart disease, we talked about the breakdown of protein and carbohydrates inside of our foods, and many other topics. A lot of stuff that we've talked about has been relatable as we go on in class. I would say that some of the most interesting stuff that we have talked about has definitely been about diets and diseases. For diets, I really enjoyed learning about the Mediterranean diet. And we talked about this a little bit in class, but I did a whole current event on it for this class, and it really made me look into what the Mediterranean diet is. And for a quick rundown of it, it's pretty much the majority of it is fruits and vegetables. Really, the only meat that they kind of eat is either chicken or fish, and then red meat is very, very minimum, and it's kind of a special time is when they use that. Other than that, we've talked about being gluten free, vegetarian, vegan, and knowing the difference between the two. We've talked about being lactose intolerant, and then we've talked about for diseases, we've talked about diabetes, the difference between type 1 and type 2. We've talked about heart disease. We talked about celiac disease. We've talked about some other diseases, but these are really the 3 that I find interesting and that I think you can always know more about. There's always something new coming out, some new study, some new research connecting diabetes and heart disease definitely to diets. Now, celiac disease is something else. I didn't really know about celiac disease until I took this class, and actually, we had someone who actually has celiac disease that works at this university. Her name is Whitney Connell, she has celiac disease, and she came in and she kind of broke down like what she went through finding out that she had celiac disease. Now, this obviously was life changing for her. Well, she kind of talked about her trials and tribulations that she had with this disease, finding out about it, learning what she can and can't eat, learning what happens when, she eats this certain food, learning about restaurants, about drinks, about food, just really about everything that really affects her life, even clothing, things like that. Everything that really affects her life can cause a reaction in her. So she came in and she really broke down celiac disease, and I found that very, very interesting. So those were kind of the highlights of the things that we've talked about so far that I really enjoy. Um, for me, the more we talk about diets and how diets can change our lives and things like that, is I started to look at how to make myself healthier, how I eat, what kind of foods I put into my body. And now for me, there are limits to what I can eat and how much I can change because I'm in college. But for me to make it a healthier me, eating right, it comes down to just eating right for me. Not having cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not always having, a big hearty breakfast, maybe slimming it down. Um, Exercising more, definitely that always comes with nutrition. Knowing what to eat, but then knowing how to burn it correctly, how it goes through your body, what to eat if you are exercising, things like that. Getting healthy, just all around kind of getting healthy, eating healthier foods. um and then for me, it's all about starting slow. I'm kind of one to just find something cool and just jump right into it. And with nutrition and how your body works, and what you eat and what you don't eat, to just kind of start something new for your body is hard for it sometimes. So for me to get into something but start slow, take out a couple things here, add a couple things there, really get to know my body and become a healthier me. Um, Now, for me, my family plays a big role in my nutrition, 100%. My mom and me both. I grew up in a house that, Sundays we cook a big meal. We love to bake. I mean, cooking is an every night thing in my house. Baking is an every weekend thing. There's cake, there's cookies, there's pie. There's always a reason to make some kind of sweets in the house. So for me, that would be hard when I do decide to become a healthier me. I think that'll be hard for me to adjust to that because, I mean, my mom's always saying, let's go make some cookies. And for me to say yes, but then having to be able to control myself and hold myself back from eating, the entire batch of cookie dough kind of thing. Also for me with my family is holidays. Holidays are a big thing in my family. I got a big family, so we have a smorgasbord of food and just mounds of food. It's great and it's wonderful, and you're happy and you're eating together and everything, and that's all great and stuff. But being from the South and the kind of food that we eat on holidays is just not knowing your limits, knowing for me, I guess, when to stop eating is a big thing for me, because when people start eating, you start talking, and next thing you know, you can't walk, you gotta take a nap, and just knowing that limit, cutting myself back, and being able to control more of that thing inside myself, push down a more, balanced diet kind of thing. My barriers, though, when I get to this point in my life, which I'm thinking will obviously be out of college, definitely for me, because college is hard enough, in addition to adding a brand new diet that you've never had before. I mean, that's a struggle. That's hard. So for me, a big barrier is college. Getting out on my own when I'm making money and starting and having my own job and living in my own house. I think that's when it'll be prime time for me to make new decisions, start a new me, get healthier. Also, at this point, this kind of goes along with the whole college thing, is just money. Having a job, being able to go to the grocery store every weekend, set aside time to really plan out my meals and not be on the run all the time. Um, a personal barrier for me is coffee. I love coffee. I drink coffee every day, a couple cups every day. Um, it's not the worst thing, but I could definitely cut back. But the want to cut back is just not there yet. And I don't think I could survive without coffee at this point right now. And the other thing for me is time. I'm an athletic training major. Though it's not as busy as some other majors, I do have a lot. I have classes all day. Sometimes not a lot of time in between those classes. And then I have a clinical rotation that starts in the early afternoon, and goes until pretty much past right at dinner time, or just past dinner time. And to find time to eat throughout the day is hard enough when you're a college student, but then to add, having only, an hour here, an hour there, and you still have to shower and do some homework and things like that, it makes it hard. So finding time to eat is hard enough, but then after I get done with practice and stuff, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and that's pretty late to be eating dinner. So a big barrier for me is just finding time to eat, making a set plan, bringing my lunch with me, things like that. Those are small things that I think are holding me back to this point. I don't think like that just yet, but I think once I get out of college, I'm on my own. I think small changes will definitely be made periodically throughout, until I've become healthier, until I've learned to be more adaptive with my body, and just learn more things about myself, and become a healthier me. So especially with the knowledge that I'll be able to take from this class, the guidelines that have been set out, knowing what needs to be in your body, what doesn't exactly need to be in your body, and how much you need and what you don't need, and all of the things that I'll take away from this class will definitely be a huge help when starting to be a new and healthier me.